Call for the control player and wrapped it up there. So, although I root for Esper, now I root for Bant. Go Bant. Game 3. I do. We met Brian Reeves yesterday, and he came to the booth and talked to us. So, real nice guy. Also, it's his first Open he's played in. He's now fighting for his semifinal life, and I hope we have a good match here, Game 3. And like I said, I'm a fan of Jund, and it reminds me of those old ramp decks with Broodmade Dragon, the original Jund decks. That before we're not talking about Bloodbraid, we're talking about prior to Bloodbraid's extensive popularity, where people with this rampant growth and played a Johnny Vengeance, and they played Broodmade Dragons. You had Planeswalkers, you had creatures that were ramped into. It reminds me of a similar time there. Both decks are very good. Alright, so we're drawing our opening 7 here. We have, I think Brian is on the play, I think. He drew his hand first, so that's my hint. And it looks like he's a little land light, but he keeps it. I think it's 2 land, and I think it's Farseek. Michael has also a couple land there, and a Farseek, I see. So here comes the second land in the Farseek.
I'm take a look quickly at those deck lists. Just taking a peek. Getting some trivia ready for you guys to win some more premium.
Sounds good. So we have Brian again, and Farseek is really the bread and butter of this deck. Huntmaster's final turn 4, Thraggus final turn 5, but why do that when you can do it a turn earlier, right?
Absolutely. They say Farseek is like a time walk.
It is.
Very much is.
And with cards like Wolfrun, it gives them even a filter for their excess mana, and Michael has, of course, thanks to Revelation, which gives him the best filter with Wolfrun, so he has multiple avenues to use that mana. So he's thinking here what land to play, but I think he has a Farseek, if I'm not mistaken. That was a very calculated Farseek Michael did.
Finds a Hallowed Fountain.
This matchup's really going to come down to Brian's powerful spells. I don't think the creatures here. They're both going to have good creatures. He did draw Huntmaster off the top, so that's a pretty good draw. Only had one, so he has double Huntmaster. So he's going to be able to lay one out here. Michael is going to probably, I don't know if he's going to verdict it on his turn, but I can't really see his hand too well. But Verdict seems to be the best answer for this guy, and sadly, you're only getting a 1-for-1 with this. But Michael's got all those revelations, so he can easily bounce back from using a few cards, or 1-for-1 cards early on. So he draws a Verdict, and let's see if he uses it on the Huntmaster by itself. I think it's 2 Verdicts there, and I would. You can't really have it flip. You don't want to get beaten down. You want to get a low life total, because once you get to a low life total against Jund, we've seen it so many times, a return can just end you. Wolfrun on a token can end you. So you want to really keep your life total at a healthy rate here.
So an update from the other table. Christopher Bryant wins 2-0 over Susan Zell. So that is another Prime Speaker Bant list into the semifinals. So both of our Prime Speaker lists are into the semis.
We talked about it actually earlier, and Jund had we think Jund has a pretty good matchup against these Bant decks.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's Magic, anything can happen. Up in the Witchbane Orb.
Witchbane Orb.
That is actually, I didn't see the Witchbane Orb, and that's going to be a good card against, obviously, a flipped Huntmaster. But Brian's okay with that. I think there's a lot of cards scarier than a Witchbane Orb here. So look at it, especially his hand. His hand is all dudes.
And a Sever.
And a Sever. So, like, he's not targeting
is that an
anybody.
Ultimate price there, too?
I think it's it's another removal spell. I think it's a Murder.
Oh, yeah, it would be Murder. Yeah.
I think it's a Murder. I can't. He's slipping through pretty quickly, but it's...
I don't think he plays Ultimate Price, so I think it's Murder. Yeah, it's Murder.
We'll see what he does here. Another Huntmaster, which is... I would have not done this play. I think you got to put Michael on a Supreme Verdict here. He plays 4. And he's just going to get Verdicted here. Just lose everything. Obviously, flipping a Huntmaster is not too attractive here, but it still acts like a second Huntmaster because it becomes a 4/4. So you're not really increasing your clock too much by playing a second Huntmaster. but you're opening yourself up for a blowout, which he did. So the second Huntmaster is going to get wrathed away. Michael's dream series of turns here, being able to tap out against a Huntmaster, protect himself against the flip shock, and then have his opponent play a second Huntmaster just to get verdicted both of them out of the game.
So a Farseek from Brian, and then just pass. Michael Bernat now 5 mana, 6 mana available, and he's going to go ahead and pay 5 for a Thragtusk. Put his life right back up to 21, and he's in great shape at the moment.
A lot of people, Magic kind of had a decline when you have a lot of the same decks playing against a lot of the same decks. When you have a lot of of one archetype, if you will. Here we see a very diverse top 8, 2/2 or the highest counts of one deck, and then you had a lot of ones.
Yeah.
And
6 different archetypes in the top 8.
That's really good. And no matter what you look at, and if you don't like seeing Thragtusk versus Thragtusk, which is kind of unpopular, it's still healthy when you can play your cards that you want to play, change decks here and there, and then battle through an 11-round tournament in top 8. So he's going to match his Thragtusk here. Michael, again, these decks it's tough to beat when you're playing against the deck with Revelation and you have returns in your deck, but you don't have a return in your hand. Because eventually Michael will draw a counterspell through his Revelation for your Rakdos return to counteract it. So you want to, Brian really needs to draw something powerful here. A Garruk maybe, a Rakdos return, something early here before Michael's able to sit back and go on his Revelation train.
Revelation train, I like it.
Yep. Revelation after revelation after revelation.
Oh, looks like end of turn. Well, not end of turn. Looks like main phase, Restoration Angel.
I like it. There's no reason to wait.
Yeah.
He plays around the murder that is in Brian's hand. Waiting against Jund, the only thing that you would be afraid of is a Bonfire Miracle, which he knows Brian does not have in his deck.
Yeah, we were talking to Brian, and he just felt like Bonfire wasn't good enough. He went with the 4 Mizium Mortars. I'm sorry, he has 3 Mizium Mortars.
And he has the Witchbane Orb. Does it say each creature target player controls, or each creature an opponent controls?
For Witchbane Orb?
For Mizium Mortars.
Oh, for Mizium. Oh, I understand. It's.
I don't think it targets the player. It might actually. Let's see.
I think it's just each target creature you don't control. So there it is. We have Mizium Mortars on the screen.
Okay, so you may cast a spell, and if you do, it changes for each. Okay, so
yeah, so it's just each creature you don't control. So
okay.
Hexproof on Michael Bernat having Hexproof doesn't affect the Mizium Mortars.
That's good. Okay, so obviously clearly better than Bonfire, because Bonfire would not work in this case. All right, so you have Brian here. His hand is very weak at the moment. He doesn't have a Wolf Run. He's able, unless it's the second land there, it'll say Overgrown Tomb there.
Yeah, I agree.
Crypt. So without a Wolf Run, he really can't push any damage through. And he's facing down Michael's army that was created. He's going to have Acidic Slime here to blow up the Witchbane Orb. But, like we said earlier, Brian doesn't have the tools that make Witchbane Orb useful yet.
So you don't feel like Witchbane Orb is even that big of a deal?
It's tough, yeah. It's kind of like the same. It answers the cards like Rakdos Return, but the problem is so does Negate, and Negate can hit Garruk as well. So it's kind of one of those, it's an answer, but sometimes it does nothing.
Sure.
This is a scenario where it does nothing. And I was talking to a friend at home, and a lot of times you'll board in these Negates against the Jund decks, and then they have creature hands, and then sometimes you don't board them in, and then they go,
Duress.
Farseek, Duress, Farseek, Garruk, Rakdos Return you. So it's tough. Jund can attack you from every angle. But we're seeing what Jund can do also here, where Brian has a lot of lands in play. He's Farseeked a couple times, and now he's just kind of like, man, I wish I had a finisher here to top off here besides the Thragtusk.
I think they need to reprint Mana Leak.
I think so too. I mean, honestly, we joke a lot about cards. I think Mana Leak is not as powerful as people gave it. I think Mana
I
Leak's
think
a good card.
it was because of Delver and
Right, yeah,
that made Mana Leak
when you're
kind of
flipping
oppressive,
a Delver with a Mana Leak, then it gets out of control. But Mana Leak in this format wouldn't be overpowered. Cavern of Souls is a card that makes it, worthless at times.
Speaking of overpowered, that acidic slime just got pumped quite a bit by a wolf run, so just ran right through that beast there.
Right, remember that Revelation train we spoke of earlier?
It's starting.
Here we go.
Let's
see if he hits another one, and we'll just draw cards for the rest of the game. Brian's really going to need to catch Michael without mana open or without a counter spell, and then hit him with a return or hit him with a Garrick. Otherwise, this is going to be a real tough game for him. I think Michael has a negate in his hand, which is going to end that fun.
So Michael with a board of Thragtusk, Restoration Angel versus Brian's Lone Thragtusk. Both players with plenty of land.
But Michael with a full grip.
Gonna far seek here. Make that plenty of land to just more land.
I think I would have augured first, and here's why. You have powerful cards you can put on the bottom, and the far seek's one of those abilities that allow you to shuffle them back. There's just no disadvantage to doing it. It's not like you're playing a wall of omens where you would draw and then hit a land and that you could have thinned out. This is a much less chance of hitting land, something. So
yeah, well, I think from the other side of it is you can see like it's one less land in there, one potential way to prevent an augur whiff where you just get land.
Right. Well, I think I'd still rather make sure my my money cards are not going to the bottom here.
Finds a negate.
So he has dual negates, or he has a dissipate negate. No, he has two negates.
I think he's got two negates. So yeah, Augur of Polis finds a negate. Restoration Angel attacks.
This puts Brian in a position where he can't even draw anything to get out of this spell-wise. He's going to have to draw a creature here. And that's a land. That's not going to do it. Wolfrun is not going to get him out of this. What he needs to do here is attack with Thragtusk, murder his Thragtusk after he blocks, and then Wolfrun pump to get trample damage, and then he can hit Michael for a little bit here. It's not the greatest play in the world, but at least it does something,
Might end up just drawing a negate.
Right. I mean, and that's perfect. You'd rather your murder get negated so you actually top deck something. A lot of players, and this is something that comes from Limited, where you attack with a trample creature, you kill the blocker, then all the trample still goes through. It's not considered blocked, if you will.
He has in hand, looks like Sever and Murder. So Thragtusk coming over, attacking.
I think he's going to take the series of plays I said. Michael should block with his Thragtusk here.
No, he says take it.
All right, so he's going to try to... Okay, I guess Michael doesn't care.
Yeah, he's going to take 11, go to 15 here. That's still pretty healthy life to the
right. I think Michael's planning on racing him, which obviously he can do. Michael has a Zorius Charm in his hand, so I'm not sure what he's saving that for.
Yeah, it would have been a nice answer
time walk there.
Right at that point, yeah.
I mean, obviously he leaves him with a 3/3, and then he has another Thragtusk in hand. He's just going to attack him with everything here. Attack him with everything, play a second Thragtusk. I think he's playing a little too careful here. I think his hand is at the point where he can't really lose to anything.
Yeah, he's going to come in for 9 here, but yeah, if he's got an Azorius Charm as you suspect, he's in a pretty safe place right now.
Right, is this another Restoration Angel? Oh man, this is just...
another Restoration Angel. Blinks his Thragtusk, so he doesn't even need to play another Thragtusk, he just pretty much gets one.
I think if Brian knew that Michael's holding double negate, I think he might pack it up right here.
Well,
I would.
No harm in trying to play it out. I mean, he's not timed.
This is what I love. Joey and I are two different guys. Joey has that never surrender, and I love to surrender. So.
Well, you don't gain anything by surrendering here other than a couple extra minutes before the legacy opens.
No, it's definitely not based on any value of time. It's based on your mental sanity.
Yeah.
I hate the feeling of helplessness, and in Magic you can get that feeling when you're playing a match where there's just nothing you can do.
So Brian's going to use Sever the Bloodline on Michael's Restoration Angel. I'm sorry, that's going to negate.
And Brian drew another land here, which is just a stinger. I think Michael has another auger you could play that turn because you're not going to need the double negate here. Let's see what he has.
Brian leaves his Thragtusk
to
back
touch the sphere.
to block, and
So what's he at? Sphere?
Brian should be at something like 12 right now.
Yeah, Brian took 9 last turn. Alright, so he's calculating the damage. If Brian blocks Thragtusk, he takes
Can
10.
he just sphere the, didn't he just draw Detention Sphere? Just
Yeah.
sphere the Thragtusk and kill him.
If he spheres Thragtusk, he hits his own Thragtusk.
Oh, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
I see. There it is again.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't worry.
Get the Thragtusk out.
It's not as cut and dry as the old Oblivion Ring. You cannot send him into Oblivion.
Yeah, I was just saying yesterday how Oblivion Ring makes me think of. Makes me keep thinking it works like the Detention Sphere.
Right.
Where I'm like, oh, I can get all. Oh no, this is Oblivion Ring, not Detention Sphere.
Right. Well, here's what's going to happen. You can probably see the series coming right now. He's going to attack with all these. Blocks are going to happen. Then Brian's going to try to flash back, sever the bloodline on Angel. It's going to receive the second negate. And barring a Force of Will that Brian draws, it's going to be lights out. I bet he wished he had that Miracle Bonfire in his deck. Anything?
Or you know, he can.
Here comes
he's
the
gonna,
murder.
He's gonna murder Thragtusk.
I think I'm going to murder the Angel here. I think he's planning on the flashback here, which is dangerous against the blue deck that's drawing a lot of cards. But he's going to block. He's going to go pure efficiency here. And, you know, I can't fault him for that, where he kills the thing he can't deal with. The Thragtusk is going to relieve. Is going to, you know, create a baby there, baby bear, baby beast there. So then he blocks the other one, and he takes the minimal amount of damage to set up this Sever the Bloodline. Michael's going to play a second Thragtusk here. No, he's not. Yes, he is. He's going to play a second Thragtusk. He tapped 4 for that? I'll say tap 4 for that.
It does look like he tapped 4.
I think he tapped 4 for that. I think he just tapped another land. Don't know if that's going to matter here or not, but...
Well, it could matter if he has... If
Azorius
he's trying to
Charm,
cast like to negate Azorius Charm.
I think, yeah, I think he, unless he's hiding a land under there, that's only.
It looks like he tapped 4 for a Thragtusk. Yeah.
Yeah, if someone wants to check that
I'm
out.
sure
on the
he
table.
didn't do it intentionally, but
Yeah,
it
of
looked
course.
like it. All right, so Brian says I'm gonna play a Thragtusk.
It's a cool draw there. It
Yeah.
it saves him for a turn. Much safer than the flashback Sever the Bloodline play, which he would have been forced to do if he didn't draw that Thragtusk here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like 4.
Oh, there it is, the 5th one. I see it now.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the light has shown us. It's hard to tell sometimes. Alright, so Michael, complete control in this game. He's counting up damage here. He's going to hit the beast. He hits his own beast here.
Yeah.
Hits his own beast. No.
Brian notices that.
No,
Okay,
no.
he did that. And,
He snap blocks here.
yeah, trades Thragtusks. So, looks like, again, 7 gets in.
So he goes to 3. Back in the same situation where he's going to have to try to flashback Sever the Bloodline. He's going to meet that negate that Michael's been holding the entire game.
Yeah, he really wants this Sever to resolve on those Angels, but it's just not gonna, unless he top-decked something.
What's that card? The counter target blue card or black spell targeting creature?
There it is. Negate for the
Nature
win. Michael
something?
Bernat. I don't. Nature's Claim.
Autumn's Veil, yeah.
Autumn's Veil,
Autumn's
okay.
Veil, thank you. We had a little angel
Good job.
told me.
Yeah.